narrated sparring session. This is in gi, and I'm going to start on the bottom of knee and stomach. Let's get going. This is me mucking around. He's quite a big guy compared to me anyway. So yeah, so he comes off knee on belly, goes into side mount. So look at my hand configuration. This hand configuration is quite good for me, I feel. So the most important hand to have free from the underhook is this hand here, the one across his neck. So if that's on the other side of his head, he has the underhook, and there's a lot of attacks he could do from there, and the control is much better. So the main goal that I try and follow when I'm on the bottom of the side mount is to free that hand, to get it to where it is now. Normally I have to use the other hand, the one that's holding his bicep, to do that. So I have to get that one free first. It's all about getting inside position. So you can see I have inside position with my left hand. My right hand I don't have inside position. But even because the left hand is more important in this case, it is still a good position. So what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to try and shrimp my right knee in under his hip, and he can't run away from it. If he tries to run around my knee, I'll roll him over the top. So this kind of like escape dilemma is very good for dealing with the bottom side mount from this hand configuration. Okay, so he mounts, hooks in. Okay, what's going on now? Right, so he's trying to smash me body weight. So if someone puts their hooks in like this with that kind of hip pressure, he's trying to really smash me, and you can see he's put his chest right down close to my face. So what I do is I don't let him hug my head. What I do is I frame his biceps with my arms. If he tries to hug my head, I'll frame my own head, and this is going to frustrate him. It's going to make him want to swim his hands on the inside. But when he does that, I'll pinch my elbow in, I'll resist it, and it will encourage him to slowly start sitting up. And then what I'll do is I'll push his hips and do an escape. I don't know if that happens here, but that's the strategy that I'm trying to focus on right now. So there you go, there you see him trying to swim in, I pinch my elbow in. So he's already taken his hooks out, he's already getting up. It looks like he's getting ready to sit up. He sits up here, I'm going to thrust his hips and get out. You can see me framing my head there, so his right arm is trying to hook my head. You can't see it, you just about see his arm here. He's trying to hug my head, but I've put my left hand on my own head, so that creates like a frame, so he can't get a nice wrap of my neck. He feels like he hasn't got a hug, basically, of my head, and this will make him sit up to try and swim his hand through. It's all about trying to get him to sit up from here. If he sits up, I'm out. Pinching the elbow in, see my hand positioning, I'm hooking over his biceps. There you go, see him trying to swim back. If he tries to lift up and grab my wrist from one side, I'll grab his wrist. See how he's trying to grab my wrist? I'll try and grab his wrist. Yeah, that's part of that strategy. There you go, I'm framing my head, so his left arm can't get a good bite of my neck. You can see there's the hand on my own head, framing it. This is annoying. You see he's already starting to sit up. There he goes, he's trying again. I'm going to frame my head on the left hand side, I think. There we go, swim the hand in for the frame. So he's sitting up a little bit more. Every time he gets frustrated, he sits up a little bit more. So I think I'm going to go for, see where he's kind of like almost beating me now with the neck hug. I'm going to try and trap and roll him. It looks like I'm getting ready for a trap and roll. I'm going to suddenly burst, and if it fails, I'll do an elbow escape. There we go, there's the elbow escape. Right, so after I elbow escaped, I got a butterfly hook in. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and sweep him to his left, so my right. And the idea is that he will post everything he can out to try and stop himself from falling, and then I'll bring my other knee in. So my right knee, will come in for a double butterfly. So I'll be in butterfly guard then. That's the idea. So you just sweep him to that direction to make him post, and then you can bring the other knee in. There's the other knee. Now what I'm realizing is that his weight is quite far forward. My hips are quite under his hips, so I've got a good lift of his body. So I'm really going to go for the sweep now. I feel like the butterfly guard is fantastic for sweeping people, and I feel like his gravity positioning to mine is perfect for a sweep. So let's see what happens. Right, you can see, so I'm going for the, I've started sweeping him the other way because I've still got that trap and roll grip on his arm. From the original trap and roll, I'm still gripping. And so I'm going to start sweeping him in that direction using the butterfly hook. You can see he's trying to make his legs very wide so he doesn't get swept, but it's not enough. Because what I'll do is I'll put my left foot on the ground and then I'll push off the ground as I lift my right butterfly hook. And if he starts basing out, I just keep hopping on that foot until he gets flipped. Let's see that. There we go, and I just keep hopping with him till he gets swept. So now I'm on top. So you can see I got a smart knee. My right knee's up against his hip. This is going to stop him from from shrimp escaping or hip escaping back into the guard. That's a good control position. And I'm using my left hand here to frame his neck. What I'm trying to do is get him to overreact, lift his arm up. His arm is already quite lifted. Look at his right arm. His elbow is already sticking up in the air. So he's already susceptible to an arm lock. I'm just sending it a little bit more to keep his hand there, so I can spin and try taking his arm. What's stopping me right now is his grip of his head. He's got some funny grip in my head. I can't see what he's doing right now, whether he's got a hand in the collar or not, but it looks like it's stopping me from throwing my leg over because I can't posture my head up. If I throw my left leg over his head to try and take the arm lock, my head has to be able to rise so I can finish the arm lock, but at the moment he's holding it, so I can't go until I free my head. Okay, so now it's free, but now you can see his arm is slipped out of position, so I can't spin for the arm lock. So now I've got to sell the choke again. But looking at the way I'm gripping his lapel, I put my thumb in the lapel and my arm is not pushing down against his neck. It looks like I'm going to try and take my right hand and go right underneath everything and into the lapel with the fingers up for a cross-collar choke from knee on stomach. Okay, so he's pushed that arm off. Okay, so now I'm just controlling him. When you start shoving like that, I just go into control. So now a lot of it's just waiting to see what he does, switch sides. Okay, this is very interesting because when I switch sides, he's just trying to literally use his power to chuck me off. The disadvantage he's got though is mobility. So if I stand up like this, I'm very mobile and he's not. So all I have to do is free that hand, get that arm across my body and his back exposure. So I literally just shoot round behind him and drop my hooks in and we're on his back. And because of his positioning of his hips, he's not very mobile and I was. So there you go, full hooks in, now we're on his back. Now the objective here of course is to finish. I'm going to try and choke him. You see I've already got a deep hand in the lapel. I'm just going to push the back of his neck with the other hand. And once again, it's a mobility thing, you see. He hasn't got the mobility to be able to get out my hooks. So my hooks are doing the job of holding him. All I've got to do now is just literally pull that lapel and push the back of his head. And there we have it. Cool, good roll.